Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're digging into a source called the Inflammatory Seed and Nut Protocol. And wow, it makes a pretty bold claim. It actually names 4 so-called dangerous seeds and nuts that it warns seniors to avoid. So, what's this all about? Let's jump in.
You know, it's something we all do, right? You grab a handful of nuts, maybe sprinkle some seeds on your yogurt, and you feel good about it, like you're making a healthy choice. But the source we're looking at today asks a really pointed question. Is that healthy snack hiding a dangerous secret? I mean, that's a heck of a question, and it's meant to make us rethink something we might do every day.
And okay, here's the number that really jumps out. The protocol claims that some of these snacks, these things we think are good for us, could jack up inflammatory markers by 67%. And get this, in just 3 weeks. That is a massive number. It's really the heart of their whole argument, so we've got to break down what that even means.
Okay, so before we get into the nitty-gritty of their warning, we kind of have to understand what they're arguing against, and that's this whole idea of the healthy snack myth. We're talking about the conventional wisdom, what we've all been told for, well, forever about seeds and nuts.
I mean, for decades, right? The advice has always been super clear. Nuts and seeds are a staple for a healthy heart. They're full of good fats, fiber, protein, you name it. Every doctor, every health magazine, they all say the same thing. They're basically a cornerstone of a good diet.
And because of that reputation, they've become our go-to, right? The easy choice when we're trying to be healthy. They're easy to grab, they fill you up, and they've just got this halo of health around them. So that's the starting point. That's what we all believe. But this is where this protocol just throws a huge curveball.
So that brings us to the protocol's big reveal, a hidden health warning. It flips the script and looks at this whole thing from a totally different angle. And that angle is all about one critical thing: inflammation.
And here it is, laid out plain and simple. The protocol literally takes that heart-healthy snack we all know and love and links it directly to that 67% spike in inflammatory markers. This is the big challenge. This is them throwing down the gauntlet against what we've always been told.
Okay, so let's be clear. What exactly is inflammation? A little bit isn't a bad thing at all. It's just your body's natural way of healing itself. You get a cut, it gets a little red and puffy, that's inflammation doing its job. The real problem, and what this protocol is zeroing in on, is chronic inflammation. Think of it like your body's alarm system being stuck in the on position 24/7, and that constant low-level stress is tied to all sorts of health problems, especially as we get older.
Right, so if the big bad guy here is inflammation, what does the protocol say is actually causing it? Well, it points the finger at 4 specific culprits. And it's not that these foods are, evil or anything. The issue, according to this source, is that they're packed with certain kinds of fatty acids that can really throw your body's natural balance out of whack.
So this is the big question, right? The one we've all been waiting for. After all this buildup, which 4 seeds and nuts are they actually calling dangerous? Especially for anyone over 60.
All right, here we go. The big reveal. The protocol calls out 4 main sources that it says are the problem. First up, peanuts and peanut oil. Now, technically, they're legumes, but they're on this list because they have a really high ratio of omega-6s, which can be inflammatory, compared to the good omega-3s. Number 2 is on the list for the exact same reason: sunflower seeds and sunflower oil. Then we have numbers 3 and 4, and these are 2 oils you find in tons of processed foods: cottonseed oil and soybean oil. The whole idea here is that eating too much of this stuff can mess up that delicate fatty acid balance, and, you guessed it, lead to chronic inflammation.
So, what are we supposed to do with all this information? It's important to know the protocol isn't saying these foods are pure poison. It's more about suggesting we look at them through a new lens. It's about looking past that simple healthy sticker and really thinking about how specific foods and how much of them we eat might be affecting our own bodies.
Yeah, it really all comes down to this big shift in thinking. On one hand, you've got the classic belief all seeds and nuts are healthy. End of story. But on the other hand, you have this protocol's very specific argument that some of them, especially the ones loaded with those omega-6 fats, might actually be fanning the flames of the very inflammation we're trying so hard to put out.
Okay, let's wrap this up with the key takeaways. First, the source is basically saying that even some healthy foods might have a hidden downside.
Second, it gets really specific, targeting those 4 sources: peanuts, sunflower seeds, and those common processed oils, especially for people over 60. The whole argument, the core concern is that a potential imbalance of certain fats could lead to inflammation. And really, the biggest message here is that maybe we should take a closer look at the dietary advice we just accept without question. And that kind of leaves us with one last big question to chew on, doesn't it? If something is universally accepted as nuts are healthy can be challenged, what other healthy habits do we have that might be worth a second look? It's just a great reminder to always stay curious, to keep asking questions. Thanks for tuning in.